Okay, good morning, people.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam rahmatullah. এখানে কাউকে মনে হচ্ছে যে রিপিট টর্চারের জন্য এসেছে। ওফ, ওয়েল ডান।
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
জি
স্যার মানে আসলে ন্যাড়া বেলতলায় তো কতবারই যায়। ঠিক আছে।
Ji, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do not worry. This one is going to be worse than 3 to 7. All right. So, welcome to CSE 465, Section 1. This is a pattern recognition and neural network course. This is obviously an elective, which means that if ever you are frustrated with the course, know that you have chosen it yourself and the department has not forced you for it. Today, we will just go through initially the course outline, and we would like to set up some basic discussion about what is it that I expect you guys to know about math, এবং কিছু কিছু জিনিস তো একটু শিখতে হবে, পার্টিকুলারলি কিছু নিউরাল নেটওয়ার্ক ফ্রেমওয়ার্ক শিখতে হবে, ওগুলির ব্যাপারেও একটু বলে দিব। And then we'll take questions, we'll discuss potential projects and what is it that I would like to see out of a project. এতটুকু হয়ে গেলে তারপরে I think we are good to go. We'll set it up for next class where we talk about neural networks, or actually about pattern recognition related models more formally. আমি তো আমার স্ক্রিনটা শেয়ার করি and then we shall see. Right, so আপনাদেরকে এই খুবই ছোট কোর্স আউটলাইনটা দেওয়া হয়েছিল, এটা একটু দেখার নিশ্চয়ই সময় হয়েছে আপনাদের বলে আশা করি। So we'll just come to the interesting parts. এখানে দুইটা অনলাইন বইয়ের কথা বলা আছে। You can buy a hard copy of this book. This is one of the authors is Ian Goodfellow, a very well-known neural network researcher. বাট ওনার বইয়ের এই ফ্রি ভার্সনটা অ্যাভেলেবল আছে, আপনারা পিডিএফ দেখে পড়তে পারেন। আর যদি মনে করেন তাহলে নর্থ সাউথ বুকশপে তো বিক্রি হয়, কিন্তু অনেক particularly given that now that the pandemic is happening, there's a lot of these sellers that deliver to your home, তারাও এটা বিক্রি করে। This second one here is actually not necessarily a formal book, but it is more an online book. The interesting thing about this second one is I actually find this is a very useful starting point for people who are just getting on with pattern recognition, particularly with pattern recognition with neural networks, because this book it has some theory, and then it has the code to implement the theory. So apnara, that's really the skill that we as computer scientists are after, that we'd like to understand and formulate new theory, but then we'd like to write code to implement it. And because this code that he writes here completely avoids all the complications to do with the GPU, which now means that you can get access to the actual underlying structures of the theory rather than worrying about GPU related stuff. So I find that this book is a good starting point, because my background, my PhD was in computer vision, but my PhD predated this surge of interest in neural networks, because I finished my PhD in 2013, and the real interest in neural networks, the re-emergence of interest of neural networks really happened around the mid to late 2012. So while my PhD was in computer vision, a lot of my application of neural networks happens in natural language processing areas. However, we will only get to NLP related topics maybe in the second half of the course. Initial part of the course, we'll talk about basic supervised, unsupervised learning, dataset partitions and metrics. যারা যারা মেশিন লার্নিং কোর্স করে আসছেন এখানে আপনারা অবভিয়াসলি কিছু রিপিট পাবেন there's no helping it, it's just the way that the courses are structured যে কিছু common topics থাকবে. However, I should say that this semester, before talking about dataset partitions, I would like to talk about regression loss function and gradient descent. এইটার ব্যাপারে আমরা হয়তো একটু তাড়াতাড়ি কথা বলা শুরু করব. ইনফ্যাক্ট হয়তো we'll try to start the discussion on these as early as next class, and then once we've done this, hopefully then you will understand the value of why is it that we need to do the dataset partitions. Okay, we'll talk about the different classification mechanisms. আপনাদের কিছু কিছু অঙ্ক করতে হবে বা অঙ্ক বুঝতে হবে. তার মধ্যে obviously there's the stuff about entropy, KL divergence. KL divergence কি আপনারা statistics কোর্সে পড়ে আসছেন? No sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Probability distributionের মাঝে পার্থক্য কেমনে বার করেন? Statistics কোর্সে আমার দুইটা probability distribution আছে. এই দুইটার মাঝে I want to find a distance between them. কিভাবে বার করবেন? দেখেন নাই? Liber divergence? Okay, আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে. No worries, you'll find that it's actually not, it sounds very complicated, but really it's not. It's actually quite easy. And then we'll look into cross entropy as a special case of KL divergence. We'll start off with absolute basic neural networks, and I'm hoping that what you guys will see is that neural networks are just a special case of models that we've already set up for regression. So you can set up linear models, linear simple models for regression, and then neural network can become special cases of those models. Convolutional neural networks are extremely popular, particularly when working on vision-related problems, but they also have a lot of advantage when you're working on sequence learning and natural language processing issues. If some of these terms are not necessarily familiar to you now, don't worry about it. The point is that you will be familiar with these, or you should be familiar with these by the end of the semester. Okay? এখনই না হলেও সমস্যা নাই. But yeah, CNN, we can spend a lot of time on CNN, but my motivation for in this course is actually not to try and teach you all the possible architectures out there. এটা সম্ভব না, 3 মাসের একটা কোর্সে পড়ানো সম্ভব না. My motivation is to get you a solid grounding on CNNs, convolutional neural networks, so that when you read those architectures, you can hopefully easily understand them. Okay, and we'll discuss a few key architectures in class. Recurrent neural networks, and in fact there should be an addition here, recurrent neural networks plus transformers is what we'd like to cover, because these class of networks form the basis of almost 90% of all natural language processing tools, or anything that has sequential data. These are generative models.
আর এটা কি স্যার কিছুটা reinforcement learning এর মতো স্যার?
না স্যার, reinforcement learning is a special class of learning,
হচ্ছে এক্সপেরিয়েন্স থেকে ও আবার এটাকে লার্ন করে দেন নেক্সটটাকে সাজেস্ট করে, এরকম কি না স্যার?
So sir, reinforcement learning and recurrent neural networks, RNN, although both of them start with R's, they're actually not the same thing. And given that you've brought it up, so we'll say let's say here is a model that is going to be trained. Okay, now the model that is going to be trained, what you need to do is you need to give it indication of এটা যে আনসারগুলি দিচ্ছে, আনসারগুলি কি গুড অর ব্যাড। ঠিক আছে, সো আপনি ওকে একটা কোয়েশ্চেন করবেন, ও একটা আনসার দিবে, আনসারটা কি কারেক্ট, ভালো হয়েছে না খারাপ হয়েছে, এটার একটা মেজারমেন্ট দরকার।
হচ্ছে প্রবাবিলিটিটা দিবে স্যার নাকি স্যার?
It could be a probability, it could be a measure, it could be a score, it could be many things. Okay, ঠিক আছে। আচ্ছা, Now, a good or bad measurement is সাধারণত when we do these types of networks or the types of stuff that we'll talk about in general, they are calculated using what is called a loss function or an error function. দুইটা একই জিনিস আসলে। Okay, আমরা good or bad indication একটা replacement হিসেবে একটা function use করি which is loss or error. Usually what happens is আমরা একটা করে কোয়েশ্চেন করি ও একটা করে আনসার দেয়, প্রত্যেকটা আনসারকে ইউজ করে আমরা এই জিনিসটা ক্যালকুলেট করি। ওকে,
yes sir.
Reinforcement learning এর number one, the issue is you may not actually have specific questions and the answers may not immediately have a good or bad answer, good or bad label. মানে আপনার হয়তো স্পেসিফিক কোয়েশ্চেনের চেয়ে you are going to place the model in a situation and ask the model to do something, আর মডেলটা যেটা করছে সেটার ইমিডিয়েট কোনো গুড অর ব্যাড এটার কিছু বলাটা হয়তো সম্ভব নাও হতে পারে, মানে এটা হয়তো আপনি পরে গিয়ে জানবেন। and this is the most likely scenario is think of a chess game. আপনি একটা মুভ করলেন, মুভটা কি ভালো কি খারাপ এটা এই মুহূর্তেই হয়তো জানাটা সম্ভব না, এটা আপনি আরো কয়েকটা মুভ পরে জানবেন। Did that make sense?
Yes sir.
Okay, so reinforcement learning actually has certain extra problems that you don't necessarily address in classical machine learning or even classical deep learning. Okay, so it has things like delayed rewards. You basically have to average over multiple moves, and in most reinforcement learning cases, you instead of using data, you use some type of simulation. Okay, because it's just actually impossible to create that much labeled data. You're better off using a simulation. Having said that, reinforcement learning, if we have time, so for example, many other possible topics, if we have time, we would like to cover it, but what we'd like to cover is stuff, reinforcement learning, because reinforcement learning classically actually does not use neural networks. It's only the recent set of deep Q learning mechanisms or their derivatives that actually uses neural networks. কাজে যদি সময় হয়, we'll try to get to that. Recurrent neural networks, on the other hand, actually try to learn something where your input is sequential in nature. So I have a pen. আপনার এই প্রত্যেকটা শব্দকে ইন্ডিভিজুয়ালি আপনার ব্রেইনে প্রসেস করার পরে you come to a meaning. Make sense?
Yes sir. Yes sir.
And these are the things that you would probably use a recurrent neural network or something like a transformer for. Okay. In fact, I lie to you. There are many other ways that you can use these even for things which are apparently non-sequential. But we'll come to that when we cover the topics.
এটা কি NLP এর সাথে রিলেটেড কিনা স্যার?
Well, NLP is a sequence learning problem, so therefore recurrent neural networks are essentially used for NLP tools, NLP problems. Okay, but they are not the only application of recurrent neural networks. You can apply RNNs or transformers to even vision problems or share market prediction or prediction of student grades, for example. Right?
Okay.
All right. So autoencoders, generative adversarial networks, we'd like to cover these as a case of generative models. Generative models, essentially, these are models that are going to be used to generate samples. Instead of you having real-world samples, we can use autoencoders and generative adversarial networks to generate samples. And for example, for those of you who've seen the deepfake videos or who are interested in saying image colorization, these are essentially applications of autoencoders or GANs, generative adversarial networks, GANs. Siamese networks, there are classes of problems which cannot directly be mapped to being a basic classification problem. So, for example, let's say face recognition. Face recognition is, in its application, what is called an open set problem. The number of people that we can apply our face recognition modules to is not a fixed number. So you may say that I have trained a face recognition module, but it needs to work for 10,000 people or 20,000 people or 30,000 people. It's not a fixed number of people. And in those cases, what we usually try to do is we try to do metric learning, or we try to create models that can solve these types of what is called an open set problem. And Siamese networks are one way of doing it. We will, at the same time, if possible, also cover things like angular margin losses, which have been very, very successful for these types of problems. Adversarial images, this is a simple trick of using calculus on your model to create samples to fool your models. So you might present your model with the image of, let's say, a teapot, change a few selected pixels in a way that you cannot see it, and your model might start classifying a teapot as, say, a dog. Okay. So these classes of problems are adversarial images, and I just wanted to introduce the idea, saying, so that you know how easy it is to fool these apparently great AI models. It's not that hard, and you can write maybe 4 or 5 lines of code to fool even the best, most expensive models out there. So those are the topics that I hope to cover. Again, if a lot of that is not necessarily making sense to you right now, don't worry about it. The point is that it should make sense to you by the end of the semester. And if they make sense to you already, then I don't know what you are doing in this course. Maybe it's a good time to go and do some other thing. All right, so they are marking. So you'll find that যদিও আমি বলতেছি project work এ 40, in reality project এ হলো 50. Okay. So you can do the project in a group, or you can do it individually. If you're going to do it in a group, please don't make a group of any more than 4 people. If you do it individually, that's fine too. I am looking for particular types of projects. We'll discuss it. Now, the 2 types of skills that you're going to need for the project is basically you will need to learn a deep learning framework. So my recommendation, that's great. If not, my recommendation is that you start with PyTorch. And the other thing that you'll need to learn is you need to learn LaTeX, because you'll be writing your reports using LaTeX. LaTeX কি আগে কেউ ইউজ করছেন এখানে?
Yes sir.
Yes sir. No sir.
No sir.
So যারা LaTeX ইউজ করেন নাই, স্যার ওই জীবনে HTML লিখছেন কেউ?
Yes sir.
Yes sir.
So HTML has, for example, this thing where you can say bold. আপনি কিছু একটা লিখে you can say bold. এরকম কিছু করা যায় না স্যার? Bold না B?
Yes sir.
BF না কিছু একটা বলে তো, তাই না স্যার?
B sir.
So what it is, what you're doing is you're taking a piece of text and you're applying a label to it. Okay. LaTeX has a very similar philosophy, not exactly this philosophy, but a very, very similar philosophy. And because LaTeX has a very similar philosophy, for those of you who are starting with it, you should treat it simply as a markup language. Okay. You should treat it as a markup language which has programming capacities built in. Because you can do a lot of very, very cool programming in LaTeX. You guys don't have to. আপনাদের সিম্পল কাজ হলো আপনাদেরকে কোনো একটা স্টাইলিং টেমপ্লেট দিয়ে দিলে ওই স্টাইলিং টেমপ্লেটটা মার্কআপ ইউজ করে আপনারা একটা ডকুমেন্ট বানাইতে যেতে পারেন। I should tell you that when I was an undergraduate student, we were given one lab, which is 1 3-hour lab, to sit down to learn LaTeX and to produce a document, and all 25 of us got full marks in that lab, because it is actually that easy. You can sit down in a 3-hour window, sit down, learn LaTeX, use one of the editors or use one of the online situations, things like Overleaf, and you should be able to be in a position to produce a document in 3 hours or less, in fact, given that you guys are already senior students. So এটা আসলে অত কঠিন না. PyTorch, there can be a lot to learn in PyTorch. What I did last semester is I got one of the NSU alumni, Mr. Shourab Hossain, who is one of the finest deep learning engineers that I know of, to do a session to teach the students of CAC 465 PyTorch. মানে আসলে টিচ করাটা আপনাদেরকে শুরু করায় দেওয়ার জন্য. So I will attempt to get him and Miss Labiba to do a session, do 1 or maybe 2 sessions for PyTorch. ওইটা হয়তো আরেকটু পরে আমাদের দুই সপ্তাহের মতো ক্লাস যাক, so that you are familiar with the terminologies, and then hopefully Shourab and Labiba can do a session on PyTorch. Be aware the PyTorch যে সেশনগুলি হবে এটা ক্লাস টাইমে নেওয়া হবে না, because Shourab and Labiba, both of them work. So what's going to happen is it will be on a Friday. I will record it Friday or a Saturday. যদি আপনারা attend করতে পারেন, great, and I do recommend that if you have time you should attend. কিন্তু যদি attend না করা সম্ভব হয়, then you can look at the recordings. কিন্তু PyTorch শেখার জন্য there are many resources, but I find that if someone gets you started, it just makes it slightly easier, because this is not like any other software engineering framework. এখানে কয়েকটা কনসেপ্ট আছে যেটা একটু ধরে দেওয়া হবে. Okay. You guys will be expected to do a literature review. Usually it's due by week 4, but given the situation with the pandemic and the fact that maybe we can look into this and we can try to move it to week 6 or 7, depending upon how quickly we cover topics. Kintu what we will try to do is we'll try to get your project topic sorted out by next week, and we'll talk about how we're going to do this. আপনাদের ফাইনাল এক্সাম এবং টেক হোম অ্যাসেসমেন্ট এই দুইটাই আপনাদেরকে কোশ্চেন দিব. আপনাদেরকে আমি প্রায় I will give you more than 20 hours unless the department has something else to say. ডিপার্টমেন্ট বললো আমাকে 1.5 ঘন্টাতেই পরীক্ষা নিতে হবে, then there's not much I can do, but otherwise আমি আপনাদেরকে এই দুইটাই সময় দিব যেন আপনারা বসে করতে পারেন. Make sure the bit that is going to be the case এগুলির আনসারে যে কোনো আনসারই আসলে বড় হওয়ার কথা না, মানে কোনো কোয়েশ্চেনের আনসারই অনেক বড় হওয়ার কথা না, বা আমি আপনাদের কাছ থেকে থিওরির এক্সপ্লেনেশন পেজের পর পেজ চাই না, ইনফ্যাক্ট প্যারাগ্রাফও চাই না, আমি আপনাদের কাছ থেকে সিম্পলি সলিউশনগুলি চাই. কাজেই যদি আপনারা পেজের পর পেজ বা প্যারাগ্রাফের পর প্যারাগ্রাফ লিখেন, আমি অ্যাকচুয়ালি মার্ক কাটব. সো বি অ্যাওয়্যার, মেক ইট ইজি ফর মি টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড ইয়োর থটস quickly and precisely. And that is a skill that you must also develop. So most of the time the answers are going to be based on math, most of the time. So you should be able to give me the answer purely on math. Right? Grading policy, last semester I gave an A on 85 and I gave a pass at 45. Okay, so if you're getting a 45, you're probably getting a D. If you're getting an 85, you're most likely going to get an A. There were, I think, 4 or 5 students who received a full A grade, and maybe another 4 or 5 students who received an A minus. Mainly, as you can see, this has to do with the fact that they ended up doing interesting and complete projects. তাতে আপনাদের আসলে প্রজেক্ট যত ভালো হবে, আপনাদের ভালো করার চান্স at least এই সেকশনে তত বেশি. And course policies, well, follow the university policies. Okay. Any questions with all the mumbo jumbo that I've said so far?
Sir, project কি টাইপসের হবে, মানে রিসার্চ টাইপস হবে or কোনো মডেল বিল্ডিং এরকম টাইপস হবে?
So definitely research type, but we'll try and give you some examples.
লাইক স্যার লেটেক্স আমাদের টেমপ্লেট ইউজ করে, লাইক যেমন একটা রিসার্চ পেপারে ইন্ট্রোডাকশন, ডেটা সেট, লিটারেচার রিভিউ এন্ড মেথডোলজি এরকম সবকিছু থাকতে পারে, রাদার দ্যান অ্যানালাইসিস, কনক্লুশন,
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So the final report that you're going to give me, so the final one with the project এই যে 40 মার্ক আছে 40 মার্কে আসলে breakdown আছে. For example, I'll take a demonstration, I'll take a presentation, we'll take your viva on this course is going to be based on your project, okay, which is going to get into that 40, and then your actual report is also going to have certain marks. So but obviously the core factor is going to be how interesting is your project, how interesting being. So I think the word interesting is probably the wrong word to use, is how well done is your project. Doing a well done project will ensure that you'll get a good mark. Then doing something interesting is going to ensure that you end up getting a very, very good mark. So I mean, last semester example they said. Last semester, there were a few groups that did a well-done project. Well-done project meaning they were working on guava classification, guava disease classification. So they found a data set, they partitioned the data set, but initially their partition was wrong. But no, the partition was not wrong, the partition was biased. So they understood it, they repartitioned the data set, and then reported results, যেটা আসলে ভালো result ছিল না, but their dataset partition was correct. These guys ended up getting an A-. I in fact gave them, I think, 42 in the project. And the mark cutter main কারণটা ছিল তাদের আসলে রিপোর্টে ইংরেজির অনেক ভুল ছিল। কিন্তু টেকনিক্যালি তারা যে কাজটা করছে তাদের রেজাল্ট হয়তো ভালো ছিল না, কিন্তু তারা যে ডেটাসেট পার্টিশনিং টুকু যেভাবে করার কথা, মডেল ট্রেনিং যেভাবে করার কথা, মডেল ফাইন টিউনিং যেভাবে করার কথা, এই প্রসেসটা ঠিকমতো they carried out. So they ended up getting a good grade, good mark for it. And then there were other groups who did all of that. Plus, what they did was they said, okay, let me try and see what other stuff I can do out there, which other people haven't tried. And because they made that extra effort and then they tried other things, I give them more marks. Did that make sense?
Yes.
So it's basically correlated directly with your effort. It has no other correlation. In fact, the three students, the ones who got the A's, in fact, I can think of three of them. As far as I know, they've never done neural networks before starting 465 last semester. And in fact, with two of their works, one of them we're writing for a journal paper, and the other one hopefully will submit as a conference paper in the second best biometric identification conference tomorrow, hopefully. কাজেই মানে ভালো কাজ করা সম্ভব, একটু এফোর্ট দেওয়ার ব্যাপার আছে, সময় দেওয়ার ব্যাপার আছে, আর obviously মানে your math preparation and your programming preparation is going to play a part. আপনার math 1 to 5 calculus যত ভালো আছে আর আপনার প্রোগ্রামিং যত স্ট্রং আছে, you have a better chance of doing well. Okay. All right. So now let's come to what is it what are the concepts that we sort of need for the next classes. আমি কি expect করব আপনাদের কাছ থেকে, alright, and then we'll see. Okay, so suppose I have three numbers. I have three numbers, and I say that these three numbers together make up a probability distribution. What can I say about these three numbers? Someone tell me. This must be from your statistics course.
Sir, question to বুঝি নাই sir.
So আমার একটা probability distribution আছে of three different elements. So I have three different probabilities, three different numbers, and the three of them together make up a single probability distribution?
1, sir.
Okay, so what is it that I can say about these numbers? I'm ki bolte pari.
Their skewness.
Their skewness. Okay, so I can calculate their skewness, sure. But before getting to that, what are the properties that P1, P2, and P3 must satisfy for them to be a probability distribution?
Their sum must be 1.
And what else? What else? Something else?
Less than, sir, 0 to 1, sir. Okay.
They must be greater than or equal to 0.
Which one must be greater than or equals to 0?
All of them, sir.
All of them, right? So
Individually. Yes.
okay. So does this notation make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I can generalize this by saying that I have a probability distribution of P1 to Pk, and then what should be the case is I equals to 1 to k, Pi must be equals to 1, and 0 is less than equals to Pc is less than equals to 1. Can I write that? The generalized case?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And everyone is absolutely comfortable with that notation, yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. Excellent. Right. So now, this is good. If I have a probability distribution, okay, and if I have associated weightages with that probability distribution, what is my mean weight?
Sir, it would be the weighted sum.
Yeah. So what's the weighted sum? Someone tell me.
In this case, it would be W1 P1, W2 P2, W3 P3.
W1 P1 plus W2 P2 plus W3 P3 is going to give you W mean, yeah?
Yes.
Did that make sense? Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If there's anyone who has a problem with this, speak now, because you guys are going to need this concept.
Yes, sir. I have.
Okay, right. So let's think about the weight of the people. All right. Okay. So I have 3 people with a weight. 3 people who are 30 kilos. Okay. I have 4 people with a weight of 50 kilos. And I have 2 people with a weight of 100 kilos. What is my average weight?
So, in multiply করে divided by
Bolen?
2 into 30.
2 into?
Yeah, 3 into 30.
3 into 30.
Plus 4 into 50.
Plus 4 into 50.
Plus 2 into 100.
Plus 2 into 100. 2
divided
into
by
100. Divided by?
9.
3 to 9, sir.
9. Divided by 9. এটা কি ঠিক আছে?
জি স্যার।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে। Alright. So এটা যদি থাকে এইটা তাইলে কি হবে? So this would be এটা কিছু একটা হবে স্যার। হবে না স্যার? হবে তো?
জি স্যার।
আবু আম্মার সাহেব এখন আমাকে বলেন, and really anyone who has a problem with this, please chip in, right? But because Ammar Sahib asked the question, and I thank you, sir, for asking it, I'm addressing him now, but anyone can chip in. What is the probability of me finding a person with a weight of 30 kilos? what is my probability of me finding a person with a weight of 30 kilos?
3/9.
30 divided by 9.
No. Again, so let me, how many people do I have who have a weight of 30 kilos?
3,
3, sir.
3. How many total people do I have?
9,
9.
9. So what is my probability of finding someone? If I pick a person randomly from this group, what is my probability of picking someone who has a who has a weight of 30 kilos?
3/9, sir.
3 over 9.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
3 over 9? এটা নিয়ে কোনো সমস্যা?
No, sir.
no sir,
আচ্ছা। What is the probability of me picking someone randomly who has a weight of 50 kilos?
4/9,
4 over 9. Oh, 4 over 9. So in fact, let's just write this down. Probability 30 kilo is 3 over 9. Probability of 50 kilo, 4 over 9. And probability of 100 kilo, বলে ফেলান
5.
2/9.
2/9.
2 over 9.
2
over
over 9. ঠিক আছে না স্যার?
জি, স্যার।
এইটা বুঝতে কারো কোনো সমস্যা?
Yes, sir.
এই অ্যামেজিং প্রবাবিলিটির অঙ্কটা যে কইরা ফেলাইলাম, এটাতে কোনো সমস্যা?
No, sir.
আলহামদুলিল্লাহ। আল্লাহ। আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে। এখন আসেন আমরা এই অঙ্কটাই ফেরত যাই যেটা করতেছিলাম। এখন এটা, this entire thing can be written as this. লেখা যায় না?
yes sir,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And this can be written as 3/9 times 30. লেখা যায় না?
yes sir,
Yes, sir.
Allah.
Yes, sir.
Which can be written as probability of 30 kilo times 30 plus probability of 50 times 50 plus probability of 100 times 100. কি লেখা যায় না?
Yes, sir.
Of course, sir.
Yes, sir.
এইটাতে কোনো সমস্যা?
No, sir.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
আচ্ছা, তো এখন আমি আপনাকে বলছি কি, আমি আপনাকে বলছি যে আমার 3 জন ছিল 30 কেজি, 4 জন ছিল 50 কেজি আর 2 জন ছিল 100 কেজি। আমি যদি এই ইনফরমেশনটা না দিয়ে আপনাকে বলতাম যে আমার 30 কেজির প্রবাবিলিটি ছিল, 30 কেজির একজন মানুষের 30 কেজি হওয়ার প্রবাবিলিটি হলো 3/9। একজন মানুষের 50 কেজি হওয়ার প্রবাবিলিটি হলো 4/9। আর একজন মানুষের 100 কেজি হওয়ার প্রবাবিলিটি হলো 2/9। আপনি কি তাহলে মিনটা বার করতে পারতেন না? মিন ওয়েট,
জি স্যার।
মিন ওয়েটটা কেমনে বার করবো আমরা? এই প্রবাবিলিটিটাকে এই ওজন দিয়ে গুণ করে। কেননা এই কাজটা করা আর এই কাজটা করা দুইটা একই না?
ইয়েস স্যার।
Yes, sir.
আবু আম্মার সাহেব,
জি, স্যার।
কোনো সমস্যা স্যার? বইলা ফেলান।
No, sir.
আরেকবার স্যার একটু।
ওকে, আরেকবার স্যার বলবো স্যার?
জি স্যার।
আচ্ছা, কোন পার্টটা স্যার একটু বলেন, কোথায় গিয়ে আটকেছি আমরা?
শেষের দিকে স্যার একটু সমস্যা হচ্ছে।
আচ্ছা স্যার, আমরা অরিজিনালি আপনাকে বলছিলাম যে আমার 3 জন লোক আছে 30 কেজি, 4 জন লোক আছে 50 কেজি আর 2 জন লোক আছে 100 কেজি। এই ইনফরমেশন দিয়ে আপনি এই জিনিসটা করছেন। এটা করতে তো কোনো সমস্যা নাই ইস্তেক সাহেব, আছে
না স্যার।
আচ্ছা, এইখান থেকে আমরা এইখান থেকে এইখানে কেমনে আসছি সেটা বুঝতে কোনো সমস্যা আছে স্যার?
না স্যার।
আচ্ছা, এবং এই জিনিসটা যে 30 কেজি একটা মানুষকে র্যান্ডমলি পিক করার প্রবাবিলিটি, এটা বুঝতে কোনো সমস্যা?
নো স্যার।
আচ্ছা, তো এইটা একটা প্রবাবিলিটি, এটা একটা প্রবাবিলিটি, এটা একটা প্রবাবিলিটি। ঠিক আছে স্যার? ইস্তেক সাহেব?
ইয়েস স্যার।
আমি যদি আপনাকে এই সংখ্যাগুলি না দিয়ে, আমি এইগুলি আপনাকে না দিয়ে, আমি আপনাকে দিলাম এগুলি না দিয়ে আমি আপনাকে বললাম যে the probability of picking a random person who's 30 kilos is 3/9. and the probability of picking a person randomly and their weight being 50 kilos is 4/9 আর 100 হলে 2/9 আমি যদি আপনাদেরকে এই প্রবাবিলিটি গুলি দিতাম তাহলে কি আপনি ঠিক এই অঙ্কটা লিখতে পারতেন না
জি স্যার
জি স্যার অবশ্যই
এবং এই অঙ্কটাই কি মিন না is it not the average weight
ইয়েস স্যার
কাজে আমি যদি আপনাদেরকে এই সংখ্যা কংক্রিট সংখ্যা না দিয়ে প্রবাবিলিটি গুলি দিতাম তাহলে কি আপনি এভারেজ বার করতে পারতেন না
ইয়েস স্যার
জি স্যার
এটাই ওকে
বুঝতে পারছি।
এবং এভারেজটা আমরা কেমনে বার করছি প্রবাবিলিটি গুণ করছি ওয়েটের সাথে প্রবাবিলিটি গুণ করছি ওয়েটের সাথে প্রবাবিলিটি ওয়েট গুণ করছি ওয়েটের সাথে মেক সেন্স
ইয়েস স্যার
আচ্ছা
ইয়েস স্যার
ইনফ্যাক্ট আমরা এইখানে যে কথাটা ছিল যে আমি যদি প্রত্যেকটা প্রবাবিলিটির সাথে একটা ওয়েট দেই তাহলে আমার এভারেজ ওয়েট বার করব কিভাবে প্রবাবিলিটি গুণ করব ওয়েটের সাথে প্রবাবিলিটি গুণ করব ওয়েটের সাথে প্রবাবিলিটি গুণ করব ওয়েটের সাথে করে যোগফল যেটা হবে সেটাই আমার মিন সমস্যা
জি স্যার বুঝতে পারছি
ওকে আমরা জাস্ট সুন্দর সুন্দর সাবস্ক্রিপ্ট দিয়ে লিখতে চাই যেন মানুষজন দেখা বুঝে যে আমরা অনেক কিছু পারি মানে আমরা কত চালাক কত বুদ্ধি রাখি ওকে any problems with this bit so far
নো স্যার
নো স্যার
অলরাইট
beautiful মানে আপনাদের যদি এই কনসেপ্টগুলি থাকে then we are getting there so now let's ask basic questions আমার একটা where's my eraser I have a vector v okay and my v is in let's say my v is in R13 এটার মানে কি
মানে 30 ডাইমেনশনাল
রিয়েল নাম্বার
so I have a vector which is in R13 means that it's made up of real numbers in the 13 dimensions আচ্ছা এটা যখন আমরা যদি প্রোগ্রামিং করতে বসি এটাকে আমরা কিভাবে রিপ্রেজেন্ট করতে পারি
A 13 tuple.
13
Tuple.
tuple okay thank you Mr. Salman for calling it a tuple why is the tuple important
Because sir, it denotes the order as well as the.
স্যার লিস্ট লেখা যায় না স্যার
Sure. Yes. So, the list is a representation of the concept of a tuple because in a list, order also matters, right? So, unlike a set, in a set the order would not matter, but in this case it would matter. So, really, you can represent it using a list or an array. But ekhane essentially 13টা number থাকবে. Okay. So, you will have from V1 to V13. কোনো সমস্যা এতটুকুতে?
নো স্যার
Anyone? এই যে অ্যামেজিং নোটেশন ফোটেশন দেওয়ার টোটাল কাজটা কি আমার 13টা নাম্বার আছে যেটার সিকোয়েন্স ম্যাটারস দ্যাটস হোয়াট উই আর রিয়েলি মিন ওকে প্রবলেম এতটুকুতে
নো স্যার
নো স্যার
বিউটিফুল
No, sir.
I want to R is the wrong one. I want to project my vector V into 3 dimensions. I want to project my vector V into 3 dimensions. How do I do this? How do I take a 13-dimensional vector and project it into 3 dimensions? And I'm কিভাবে করি?
স্যার একটা 2 ডাইমেনশনাল অ্যারে দিয়ে মাল্টিপ্লাই করব
Sir, we find the component.
এটা স্যার ওই মানে অঙ্কের টার্মটা বলেন না স্যার মানে 2 dimensional array
We find the component, sir.
what you can find the component that's absolutely true but when we're talking about a generalized projection what is it that we do because you also find the component using a projection don't you not Salman sir
Yes.
right? So how is it that we just find any projection usually and we're talking about a linear projection a 2-dimensional array tare ki dake Irfan saheb etar ekta naam ache m diye shuru
ম্যাট্রিক্স স্যার।
আল্লাহ আল্লাহ, আমরা এটার একটা কি দিয়ে গুণ করি সাধারণত? একটা ম্যাট্রিক্স দিয়ে গুণ করি, কি তাই না নাকি?
Yes.
Okay, so now remember, if you listen to what Mr. Salman said that we can also find the components. If you guys go through, for example, if we try to find the PCA components, what we're really looking for is a transformation matrix that takes my individual vectors and projects it in a lower dimensional setting, or in some other, it rotates it. Maybe you can have the exact same number of dimensions, but you're going to do a rotation. But essentially you're doing a projection. But in this particular projection we are projecting down to a lower dimension. এখন এই ম্যাট্রিক্সটার শেপটা আমাকে বলেন, এটাতে কতগুলি রো থাকবে আর কতগুলি কলাম থাকবে? এই ম্যাট্রিক্সটার শেপটা আমাকে বলেন।
So it has 13 columns.
It has 13 columns.
And in order to get the pre-image, we should also have 13 rows, I suppose.
Whoa! Manushyan, math 1 to 5.
No, sir, 3 dimension, 3.
জি স্যার 3
কয়টা থাকবে?
না স্যার?
So 3 rows.
কয়টা রো থাকবে? 1
3 rows.
2 3.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm going to need 3 rows. Each one of these rows will need to have 13 columns, because to find y1, so now actually let's write this out. Okay, so let's call it W1 transpose. Okay, W2 transpose and W3 transpose. Achha. So I am calling my first row W1 transpose. So W1 must be what? W1 must be what? Someone.
So it must be a vector.
Vector of how many dimensions?
It must be a
13. Yeah.
13.
What dimension?
13 dimensional vectors.
13. So
13
W1
dimensions.
must be a vector of 13 dimensions. W1 must be a vector of 13 dimensions, because I'm going to take that vector and take each element of that vector W1 transpose and multiply it with each element of the vector V, and then sum it up, and that sum is going to give me y1. So y1 is going to be what? Is going to be W1 V কি অপারেশন করলে y1 আসবে? কি অপারেশন করতে হবে? আমার এই দুইটা ভেক্টর আছে।
Dot product.
Dot product.
dot
I have to take a dot product. Thank you very much, people. Yes, I have to take a dot product between these two vectors. ঠিক আছে? So if you guys remember what a dot product is, a dot product between, let's say, 1 2 3 and 1 5 6 is going to be 1 times 1, 1 multiplied by 1, plus 2 multiplied by 5, plus 3 multiplied by 6. এই সামেশনটা যাই হবে সেটা, so there will be 1 plus 10 plus 18 will be 29. So the dot product between two vectors always gives me a scalar value. Yes, always gives me a scalar value. এটাতে কোনো সমস্যা?
No, sir.
No, sir.
All right. So now, just pushing this a bit further. এতটুকু হইলেই I think we are mostly good, but let's just take it further. If I now tell you that then y1 can be written as, y1 can be written as what?
So then y1 can be written as just 1. Sorry, it's just b, I guess.
As just. Okay, so let me ask a different question. Under this constraint, so W1 is a vector, V is a vector. Both of them have, what have I written? It's a Kilixi. What have I written? Yes, so both of them have a norm of 1. Okay, so vector and norm mone ache? Vector and norm ki jinish? Someone tell me.
So basically it's magnitude.
It's the magnitude, right? It's the magnitude of the vector, the length of the vector from the origin. Okay, so এখন বলেন আমি বললাম যে দুইটারই norm হলো 1. So what can I write my dot product as? আমার dot product এর range টা কি? What is my range of values that is now possible for my?
So 0 to 1.
Oh, come on.
-1 to 1.
-1 to 1. Okay, why is it -1 to 1?
Because it depends on the angles of the vectors.
Right. So this thing can now be written as the cosine of the theta 1, where theta 1 is the angle between V and W. Yes? এতটুকুতে কোনো সমস্যা? Anyone? Am I even online?
Yes.
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now remember this, because when we come to do some metric learning, we will try to use this trick. We'll try to use this to create a constraint that gives us, amazing models like arc phase or curricular phase, which depends on the fact that we can do this trick. Okay. So now, last question. Okay. How far away are these two vectors?
So exactly one first. We can multiply them with us either. No,
So if I wanted to find, if I have two vectors and if I want to find the distance between them, how do I go about finding the distance between these 2 points?
You compute the difference. So.
Okay, so how do I calculate the distance between them?
So Pythagoras theorem.
বলেন না স্যার পাইথাগোরাস থিওরেম আমি কি এত পুরানো লোকের থিওরেম জানি না
So we take the difference between the individual components. We write
All right,
it as a vector.
So I say 1 minus 4.
Yes, sir. Then the next entry of the vector would be 2 minus 5.
2 minus 5.
Oh, sir. এটা ভেক্টর আকারে লিখে স্যার ওটার নরম নিতে হবে
The vector আকারে লিখে ওটার কি নিতে হবে নরম নিতে হবে which is the same as doing what -1 minus 4 plus 2 minus 5 plus 3 minus 6 but I take these
yes
and I
স্যার এখানে একটা উপকার আসার কথা জি স্যার
that's what I do yes
yes sir
okay this can also be written as a mean. So what I have not done is I have not taken the mean, but what this simply is the squared difference, root over squared difference. Is that not what I've done?
Yes.
I've taken the root of the I've taken the root of the sum of the square differences. That's what I've done. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so keep this in mind that when we have 2 points and we want to find the distance between them, essentially we take the norm of their difference vector, which is essentially something like this. মানে এটা হলো গিয়া বিয়োগ করো, গুণ করো, যোগ করো, তারপরে এই অ্যামেজিং ক্যালকুলেটর দিয়ে একটা রুট ওভার বার করো। এগুলি তো সব পারেন আপনারা, মানে এগুলির কোনোটাই তো নাই যেটা পারেন না। এখন পর্যন্ত যা যা অঙ্ক ডিসকাস করছি একটাও কি আছে যেটা পারেন না বা আগে করেন নাই?
No, sir.
No, sir.
মানে if you guys are comfortable with this bit so far, then the only other thing that you guys will need to be confident about is this. G of x is equals to some okay, and f of p is equals to কি জিনিস?
Sir, d to the power the first polynomial.
Okay, if I wanted to find df g of x by dx, কিভাবে করব?
Sir, we take the derivative with respect to x of f of g of x.
Okay, and can we do this using the chain rule?
Yes, sir, we can.
So if we wanted to do it using the chain rule, how would we do it?
Sir, since it is in exponent form, we would first keep d to the power a x squared plus bx plus c, and then we multiply it with the derivative of g of x.
So we can take df by dp.
Yes, sir, and then multiply by dp by dx.
Yeah. So first we'll need to get this, but now we'll need to replace p by g. So really what we're going to do is we're going to set this up as symbols, right? It actually makes it easy for us if we set this up as symbols. And I am actually now not being mathematically precise. I'm now going to be more programmatically inclined. So I say g of x, and I will assign this to the symbol for now. Let's call it S1. And I will now say that f of p, and I will now replace now when I'm trying to take this mathematically pristine thing and trying to convert it to a programming problem, this is now what makes it easy for me. df by dx is going to be df by ds1 multiplied by ds1 by dx. Is that about right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there are many mathematical jumps that we can take, but when we're doing programming, it's essentially the same thing. Okay. Now let's ask you a programming question. When I'm doing a multiplication like this, what are my danger points? What are my danger points when in a programming language I'm doing a multiplication like this? What are at least the two cases where I'm going to get the wrong derivative?
Sir, the dimensions may not match.
Well, assuming that you did your math right and that the dimensions are in fact correct. In fact, for now, just that they're all scalars. Right?
Sir, then it might cause an overflow.
Yes. So I have the case where both of these numbers might be too large. And if they're too large, the multiplication is going to result in an overflow. Or I have the case where both of these numbers are individually small, where multiplying them is going to result in an underflow. Or it's going to essentially result in it being all cancelled out to being 0. Because if all your derivatives are positive, under that assumption, you can take this number and multiply it with this number, and you're going to get an extremely small number. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Because what happens is when we're doing neural networks, what we do, we end up creating a chain where we're probably going to do hundreds and hundreds of multiplications. And because we'll be doing hundreds and hundreds of multiplications, if all of these numbers are at this scale, you're going to end up with essentially a gradient which becomes 0. And that's bad for us. Okay? And we'll come to those situations when we're talking about backpropagation. Okay. Good. So, a math টুকু যদি আপনারা পারেন, then we should be good. We should not necessarily have a lot of issues with hopefully the math of the course. But obviously, I should warn you that in this course, there will be certain liberties that we will take. Well, at least I will take with mathematics. There will be certain cases where we're going to devise a function which actually does not mathematically have a derivative, but we will just invent one because it is convenient. And in other cases, we will completely abuse notation to give us niceness of algorithm. Basically, we're going to treat math as a tool and not math as a religion. So, দয়া করে ম্যাথ ডিপার্টমেন্টের কোনো স্যারদের সাথে এই ব্যাপারে কথা বলবেন না, কেননা তাইলে এসে বোকা দিবে। Okay. It is actually unfortunate that we still do a lot of neural network stuff which is not mathematically rigorous. We just do stuff because it's there, it's convenient. Mainly that is a shortcoming of the fact that we computer scientists are badly trained on math, and the fact that we still don't have a very good mathematical explanation of why these things work. এবং অনেক সময় আপনারা কোশ্চেন করবেন যে এটা কেন হচ্ছে, বা ধরুন কোন একটা নিউরাল নেটওয়ার্কের ব্যাপারে আমরা কথা বলবো যে এই জিনিসটা এইভাবে করে ভালো কাজ হয়। Obviously a follow up question is ভালো কেন কাজ হয়, and really the answer will be যে এটা জানি না, just হয়. Okay, we have found it empirically that ভালো কাজ হয়. What that means is we've just tried it and it shows that it's good. So we don't have a good reason why it's good. Okay. So this is an applied area. So be careful that whatever you learn here, it should always be open for the fact that there might be other ways of doing things better, which is just nice because it now means that there's a lot of place for us to work. All right. So I'm going to now just talk about a single paper that was done by a student, and the reason why I'd like to talk about that paper is because it was done by a student who, let me just download it, and hopefully we can find it. Fine. So let me stop sharing the screen from here, and let me start sharing the screen. How do we share screen? Oh, there it is. Oh, there you go. Nice. Okay. So, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now, I particularly want to show this paper to students in 465. It's because this work was essentially entirely done by Lamia Rahman, madam. By Lamia Rahman, madam, we're not talking about our madam at North South. She was a student of mine when I was teaching at ULab. Now, it is not in any way a disrespect to her to say that when she would be considered, when she started the work, to be significantly less well prepared to do this work compared to all of you here. Because, well, her results weren't amazingly good. And the other thing that she didn't have was she did not necessarily have the, let's say, the mathematical understanding of the topics that we've covered today. So she was significantly less prepared. However, this is the work she produced in a 3-month course. Okay, so she was supervised by me and obviously also supervised by Dr. Abul Kalam Al-Azhar, whose background was in essentially modeling neurons of different types. Now, I present this paper to you as an indication of the type of projects that will get very, very, very good marks. Okay. So, if you can, the paper essentially tries to modify something called an LSTM by introducing a biological cell state. Now, this biological cell state is due to a literature review that she did, where she's talking about the Hodgkin-Huxley model, which is the this system of differential equations used to model the neuron of a squid, a particular type of squid. Apparently, these squids have very, very large neurons. I am not really conversant with this particular part of it, but her interpretation of the entire thing is this: the fact that what we've got is, in this particular case, is a fact where I have created an equation, or the biological squid cell has an additive property when it is actually trying to figure out whether to fire or not, or retaining some type of state. So what she did was she took these 5 equations. These 5 equations together represent the model of a long short-term memory. And she changed the equation for the cell state here from the version in equation 3 to the version in equation 19. Okay, that is her only contribution. So she's taken a bit of math that was used to calculate CT, which is a cell state, and it used to be done via multiple learnable parameters and weighted summations and a nonlinearity tan H, etc., etc. And she essentially changed that to be this one equation here, where this delta is essentially a hyperparameter. Hyperparameter being that it's a number that we as human beings we choose. This is her only contribution. This is the only thing she's changed. And then she did an experiment where she compared the performance of a traditional vanilla LSTM with her proposed version. And then the only thing she also said was that, look, ours don't actually perform any better than the others. However, what ours does is it is less susceptible to being overtrained. Again, this is something that we will hopefully talk about in the coming classes. Essentially, the gap between the blue and the red line should be as small as possible. And what she's saying is that, look, in our proposed model, the gap is smaller than what it is in the other models. That's all what she's saying. And in fact, the gap would be smaller if the graphs were to scale. Graphs were in the same scale. They're not. So the gap in the right graph is actually going to be smaller than the left one if both of them were labeled, if the axes were labeled the same way. Now, to get to this point, it took her 3 months, sure, but what she essentially did was she was given a problem which is to say that all you need to do is you are going to modify the LSTM model to be more biologically compatible. If you look into her literature review, she's done the literature review of the Hodgkin-Huxley model, sure, but then she hasn't even touched the model in her modification. All she's done is said, all right, so there's some additive stuff there. I'm going to change my cell state to be additive, essentially additive. And that's the entire work she's done. And then the paper got published. It's now cited like 20 or 30 times. For an undergraduate 3-month course, this is a good outcome. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying that you guys all have to do something as say mathematically involved as this. Okay. Last semester, the project that received the highest mark simply said that there is a metric for calculating the similarities between two images, but that has not been used in image colorization problems, and we're going to use that metric as a differential loss function. The guy did it, got good results, he got a good mark, he's writing a paper right now. What I'm trying to tell you is, try not to just say, it's very easy for someone to do a neural network course and say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to use a few pre-trained models, and we're going to just do transfer learning, and then we're going to show results and get good results. Sure, you'll get good results, but it's not an interesting work. You have not done something which you can then discuss with other people, potential supervisors or potential employers. So take this chance to now work on things which is do a work which is considered to be interesting. Next class, I will come with a list of projects which you guys can choose from. You guys don't have to choose from them, but if you want to, you can choose from them. And for each project, what I will do is I will mention a few of your seniors from North-South who can help you get started, who can mentor you through. And these are all people who are either doing their masters or their PhDs in some machine learning or some computer vision or some NLP places, or they are currently working as machine learning engineers in some company. These are all people who have published. These are all people who've published as undergraduate students. Okay, and these are all people who are either doing a further degree or earning good money using essentially deep learning. So take their mentorship. I highly recommend that you do take their mentorship. They can learn from you, and I do hope that all of you can learn something from them. You don't have to do these projects, but if you do these projects, you'll get their help. If you want to do a project which you find interesting, there is absolutely no restriction. Obviously, you can do it, but talk it over with me, okay? I just have one restriction that I would like to impose. What I don't want students to do for this project is I don't want them to select a project for which you have to, or the student group or the student needs to collect data. এইটা করতে হলে আসলে অনেক সময় চলে যায়. And this is not a basic machine learning course. I'm actually interested in teaching you the neural networks, their mechanics, their faults, and how you can do innovations in this domain. I am not interested to teach you data collection. I'm not saying that's not valuable, but other courses take care of that. Right? So you should be working on problems that already have an established good collection of data. Okay. Also, there's the other thing. This is not a restriction, but it's a warning. If you don't have your own very high-powered GPU, then most likely you will be using something like Google Colaboratory to do your GPU-bound work. আপনারা যদি deep learning করেন, আসলে neural network করেন, GPU-bound কিছু কাজ করতে উচিত। আপনাদের যদি নিজস্ব না থাকে, আপনারা হয়তো most likely free Google Colab use করবেন। So also, don't end up picking a project where you have to process gigabytes and gigabytes of data. মানে একটা বিশাল data set থাকলে আপনার অবশ্যই মানে that's an advantage, but it will you will end up having to find hardware or pay for hardware, which I don't require. I also think that now we have come to a state in deep learning where it is worth exploring models and exploring solutions where we try to get good performance out of a small amount of data. কেন অনেক ডেটা থাকলে যে ভালো পারফরম্যান্স করে এটা আমরা জানি, হ্যাঁ, কিন্তু কম ডেটাতে ভালো পারফরম্যান্স কিভাবে করা যায় সেটা নিয়ে একটু চিন্তা করার ব্যাপার আছে। Alright? So again, I apologize if all of this does not necessarily make a lot of sense right now. That's fine. What I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that you guys are aware of these. So when you're picking your projects, hopefully you can make a decision that gets you a good grade in this course. And if you do well, hopefully you can end up trying to publish it. So, all right. Any questions?
Sir, in order to make significant contributions to a particular a particular neural network model, for instance, we have to understand its underlying mathematical frameworks pretty well, I would suppose.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So, essentially, in literature review, will we be doing that precisely?
So there's a part. So the literature review, and it's a very good question, Salman. So the literature review has two purposes. Okay. The first purpose and the primary purpose is to convince the reviewer who will be reviewing your work. So initially me, and then if you go on then to publish your paper, the guys who will be reviewing your paper, to convince them that you are someone who should be taken seriously. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the primary purpose of the literature review. The primary purpose of the literature review is actually not to convey the information. And মানুষজন এটা বলে কিন্তু এটা কিন্তু সত্যি না। কেননা আমি যখন একটা পেপার পড়তে যাব, সো লেটস আমি এনএলপি এর একটা পেপার পড়তে যাব, উনি লিটারেচার রিভিউ যা যা লিখবে উনি সব অলরেডি আমি জানি, মানে এটা আমার আবার পড়ার কিন্তু দরকার নেই। Did that make sense?
Yes.
So the primary purpose is to say that whatever it is that I am going to contribute now. So, okay, listen to me because আমি আপনাদেরকে বলতেছি দেখেন এই ব্যাপারে যা যা জানার দরকার আমি জানি এবং আমি যে জানি সেটা প্রুফটা কি এই যে দেখো আমি লিখে দেখাচ্ছি। Make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now this is the primary purpose. Also, it's not something what people will say. What people will say is this, and this is the secondary purpose, or the second most important purpose. The second most important purpose is to set up the fact that লোক এই কোনো একটা ব্যাপারে এই কোনো একটা এরিয়াতে এই কাজ হয়েছে এই কাজ হয়েছে। Alright? So let me share my screen. So, for example, there's a group that did some work on Bangla NER. Okay, Bangla named entity recognition. They published in a journal that has an impact factor of 3.7. It's considered to be Q1. All right, which is an outstanding achievement for an undergraduate student coming out of a course. All right. So what is it that they did? In the literature review, they said, all right, Bangla NER related, অনেক কাজ হয়েছে এবং এই কাজগুলিকে যখন তারা এক্সপ্লেইন করছে, they actually said, look, there's the gadgeteer based methods that agree. There's the methods which are using deep learning, which are doing these. There are methods which are using CRFs, which are doing these. So they not only did they present the work in just some random fashion, they were able to organize it via some theme that they got by reading all these papers. Okay? And then they said, look, অনেক তো কাজ হয়েছে কিন্তু এই টেকনোলজি, so contextual embeddings was the stuff that they were going for, right? Contextual embeddings ইউজ করে এই ব্যাপারে কোনো কাজ হয় নাই, এই গ্যাপটা আমরা ফিল করার চেষ্টা করতেছি আমাদের পেপারে। Okay. So in the by the literature review, what they are also establishing is that their work is also useful by filling a gap in knowledge. So if you can keep these two intentions in your head, number one is that you're trying to convince people that you are really an expert that needs to be taken seriously. And the second one is the fact that you're trying to establish that the exact work that you have done has not been done before. If you can establish these two things, that is a successful literature review. Make sense?
Yes.
Sir, মানে related
Yes, sir.
work, sir, related work এ পেপারটা পড়ে স্যার, then research observation like মানে কি improve করা যায়, কি better করা যায়, অথবা কি lacking ওরকম কিছু স্যার?
Yes. So, for example, last semester, আমি গত সেমিস্টারের কথাই বলি। গত সেমিস্টার একটা গ্রুপ একটা কাজ করছে। Again, I'm hoping we can submit the paper tomorrow. What the group essentially did, the speaker verification is what they did. Speaker verification. Speaker verification is essentially, or speaker identification is also what they did. একজনের voice sample দেওয়া হবে, whether you can identify who this person is using just their speech. Okay, so it's a biometric signal. Right. So this is what they set up the problem like this, saying, so there are data sets, there are established data sets called TIMIT and LibriSpeech. এই দুইটা data set এ আপনি just মানে 2 বছর আগে থেকে যদি চিন্তা করেন, you can get 99.9% accurate models. এটা নিয়ে কোনো সমস্যা নেই. So the problem they set up is this. A model trained on TIMIT and tested on LibriSpeech does very badly. There is poor performance. And a model trained on LibriSpeech and tested on TIMIT does poorly, which means that the model, again, the models are actually not very useful. They are useful within the data set, but they are not useful practically. So tara tokhon ki korche, they proposed an approach where it is still maybe bad performance, but it is less bad performance in this context. Did that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so less bad is an improvement. It may not be fantastic. It may not be like still 99%, but it's still an improvement than what it was before. And then they have now set up a nice problem, and they said that আমাদের আগে এগুলি অন্য কেউ করে না। Okay, I'm actually lying to you, but a problem to set up course is another senior of yours, Labib, from North South, and what they did was they followed Labib's published protocol, and then they said that what we're going to do is we're going to use curriculum learning on this protocol, and then they made it less bad, more better. That's bad English. So what Labib had originally done, he made it less bad, and what the guys last semester did was they made it better than Labib's. Okay. But again, they set up, so if you read their paper, I hope that once we submit it and if it gets accepted, I'll put it up. But if you read it, they're trying to set it up saying that এরা এটা করছে, কিন্তু এই জায়গায় একটা সমস্যা আছে, এই সমস্যাটার জন্য ওরা এরকম কাজ করছে, কিন্তু এই জিনিসটা কেউ ট্রাই করে দেখে নাই, কিন্তু এই জিনিসটা ট্রাই করাটা রিজনেবল। আসো আমরা এটা এখানে ট্রাই করে দেখতেছি, এটা আমাদের কন্ট্রিবিউশন। ওকে, সো अगेन that is set up from a literature. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So লিটারেচার এগুলো করে আমাদের একটা রিপোর্টের মতো লিখতে হবে কেন?
অবশ্যই স্যার, মানে আমি আপনাদেরকে কয়েকটা পেপারের এক্সাম্পল দিব যেটা আপনাদের সিনিয়ররাই আন্ডার গ্রাজুয়েট হিসেবে লিখছে, ঠিক আছে স্যার? কাজে ওরকম জিনিস আপনারাও লিখতে পারা উচিত। আপনারা জাস্ট ওরকম, এটা কিন্তু বিশাল 20-30 পাতা হইতে হবে না, মানে it just needs to be about 1.5 pages of very reasonable and very relevant work being cited and criticized. Make sense?
Okay, sir.
Sir, the senior who published this, was he Labib Rashid by any chance?
No, this is Labib Imam Chaudhry. Labib Rashid has gone to Google, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I only taught Labib in an extremely boring course. Like I only taught Labib Rashid in an extremely boring course called Programming Language Concepts, CAC 425. But I did not supervise him in any other course. Labib Imam Chaudhry is now working as a machine learning engineer, and he's the one who's done the speaker recognition work, because he was working as an RA of mine in a project at Ames Lab. So we can take a catch originally.
Nice.
All right. So we'll talk more about these in general. Two things I'd like you guys to take away. Number one is don't pick a boring project because I think that will be a waste of your time. মানে আপনি হয়তো একটা মার্ক পেয়ে পাসও করলেন, ভালো হয়তো একটা মোটামুটি ডিসেন্ট গ্রেড পাইলেন, ঠিক আছে, হয়তো এ মাইনাস পাবেন না কিন্তু বি মাইনাস কিছু একটা হয়তো হবে, বাট আই থিঙ্ক দ্যাট উড বি a waste of this opportunity for you. Okay, particularly because there are many of your seniors who are willing to give their time to get this thing going. So you don't have to start from zero. There will be people to handhold you. And secondly, if you're not going to take up a challenge in a fourth year course, then really, what other time are you going to take up a challenge in? Right? It just makes no sense. So take this up. As long as you do good work and you've tried something reasonable, আপনার রেজাল্ট যদি ভালো না হয়, রেজাল্ট ভালো হওয়াটার সাথে গ্রেডের কোনো সম্পর্ক নাই, কাজটা ঠিকমতো করার ব্যাপারে এবং রেলেভেন্ট এবং ইন্টারেস্টিং কিছু ট্রাই করার সাথে গ্রেডের সম্পর্ক। পাবলিকেশনটার জন্য হ্যাঁ একটা পজিটিভ রেজাল্ট লাগে, তো ওইটা তো আসলে মানে দ্যাট ইজ নট ইন ইয়োর কন্ট্রোল, দ্যাট ইজ সামথিং দ্যাট ইউল হ্যাভ টু ট্রাই অ্যান্ড ইউল হ্যাভ টু সি। ওকে, so let me take your attendance. Sheikh Asif Murshid.
Present, sir.
Thank you, sir. Khandakar Mehrab Rahman.
Present, sir.
Thank you, sir. Open up the chat with me. Iftikhar Ahmed Udoy.
Present, sir.